All right, well, good afternoon, Fleet Commanders. Welcome back to the channel. Your old pal Tiberius here with another quick video for you. Just see what's going on here in the old Star Trek Fleet Command world today. So, we got Apex events. I mentioned those in the video I uploaded yesterday about some of the different ones in between arcs. Now that Apex has actually started, we can take a little bit more of a look at it and some of the prizes and rewards and things available. It's a pretty straightforward event, but this is something that does come up usually on an end of the month basis when they're trying to fill in time between battle passes. You'll get this Apex little 3-day event here. Day 1, Apex Spy. A couple of ways to do it. The easiest, well, the simplest way, the one that most people can do, is just to go mine data. You don't even need a Botany Bay. You have to unlock the Botany Bay to sort of get into Augment space and do that whole mission chain, which you can start doing right around level 18 or 18 to 20, somewhere in that range. And then once you do, you can just go mine some data. Data is 1 point apiece, 370,000 points, so you need 370,000 units of data. Doesn't take too terribly long to do it. If you've upgraded your Botany Bay and you got the decent officers and stuff on the ship, we'll look at that in just a second. Other way would be just to actually build the Botany Bay. That's complete, or just spend some plutonium upgrading it will get you some points. The other way to do it, which a lot of people do as well, is the outlaw officers. If you get rare or epic shards from either Khan or Mud's crew, you get a big chunk of points for that as well. That'll help cut down on your mining time. So Khan crew, 9,500, rare or epic for Khan or Mud, rares rather, and then the epics are 38,000. So 10 epic shards would pretty much do it for you. You can get those shards for those officers in your faction store. They are available as your rep increases. You've got the different augment options, again, as your point totals increase and you get to different tiers of this. You can get rares or epics you have a chance at. And then there's a second pull in the augment store here that gives you chance at these. Is pretty much for 3,400 points as well. Just for, you get one chest, which has a couple of these guys in it. I usually end up getting like 2 of each every chest pull. It says chance, but I feel like I get 6 officers every time I pull that pack. So good way to get stuff there. And then in the outlaw store, this one's a little bit more intensive here. It's 1 pack, so it's a little bigger. So you have the chance of these common officers, which really drag it down a little bit. And then you got Goon, but then you've got 2 rares and 3 epics. And each time you get one of them, you get a good number of shards. So 5 of Ro or Avix, 4 of each of Mud, the Muds, or Eurydice. So you can pick up some good officer shards here, reasonably easy. In day 1, if you've also advanced to the point where you've maxed out some officers, then in the recruit tab you have these transporter patterns. You can also recruit for either Mud or Eurydice there as well, and then Khan is also available down here. You could convert some transporter patterns into getting them. At 38,000 apiece, 10 shards and you're done. 10,000 officer transporter patterns, 10 Khan shards, and day 1 is over for you in about 15 seconds. So, but if you have the Botany Bay, we'll switch to it for a second. You can do the mining pretty quickly, depending on what how much you've leveled it up. My Botany Bay is maxed out at tier 9 now because I'm in the 40s. If yours is lower, tier 3, tier 4, you can still get a pretty good pull rate, especially with Joaquin here as your captain, because he has, as a captain, he's got a cargo boost. His officer ability boosts data mining, so as you've leveled him up as well, you get a bonus to that. You could also just use, like I could flip these, because she gets a bonus to mining. Increases the mining speed by 10%. Then she gets a synergy bonus from DuPont, so she'd get up to 30% more. His bonus is still providing data mining as an officer, not as the captain. So we can just take a look there, put them in the right spots. If I wanted to go do some data mining, usually right around server reset, it's pretty crowded in the first couple of systems. Yarda is the short-term data nodes. These are 3,700 apiece, so I would need to do 100 of these, and it takes 8 seconds each time, so 800 seconds, you know, plus whatever time I've got to go back at least once to empty out the cargo, so I'm not too OPC, otherwise I'll get killed. You know, the max cargo on this thing is only like 100,000. Protected cargo is 115. So that'd be 3 trips, essentially. I can push it up to 120, 125. You're a little OPC. Usually people won't hit you for that little bit, but your server might, so keep an eye on that. But yeah, these are these nodes here. 8 seconds to fill, move off, move back on. We'll say 10 seconds for the whole process. And I need to do that 100 times. So that's 1,000 seconds. So that 15 minutes. 16 and a half minutes and you're done mining, plus a couple minutes travel time. Either way, you can mine it all and finish it in about 20-25 minutes. You can also get, if you only have access to the lower systems, you can get do it with the reds. Again, at the same 1 point per. This type of data does take a little bit longer. I mean, these nodes are smaller, so it's a lot more moving off, moving back on. But then again, your total will also be lower that you need to get. The bigger nodes are here in Afria. These are 500 nodes. These again take the same like 7 seconds, but it's a lot more clicking back and forth. You can also, if you want to take a little longer to do it, but don't want to have to constantly be more passive mining, these are bigger nodes here. These are 60,000 nodes. Let's see if I can find one that's close to full that somebody just reset. But these are going to be pretty full up for a while. What do we got there? 50,000. 15 minutes. It's about 18 minutes, 20 minutes for for a full node. These have 60,000 per piece, per capacity. So you just have to do this like 6 times. But again, these are going to be a little harder because they're more long-term parking. That's how I would describe them. And if you prefer the red data, you can get that in Cornaran. These nodes have 4,000 on them. Let's see if there's an empty one. Nope. These are all pretty full. Hey, here's one. That's 1,400. What's the cargo rate? 4,000. 4,000. Hey, 0 node. All right, so there's 3,000, and that takes 17 minutes. So we'll extrapolate that out and say it's in the mid-20s, 22, 23 minutes, just to get 4,000 corrupted data. Certainly the green, the decoded data, has the faster rate to it. It's also the one that you're going to use more often in your outlaw store, your directives and credits here. Nope, that's the wrong one. Data to directives. This is the one I want. 55,000 green data gets you some Eclipse Armada event directives. Wow, couldn't think of the word. And then when you're trying to convert here, 9,500 red data gets you 480 augment credits. This is like 70,000 or so green data. It gets me 7,100 credits. And since we saw that these take 3,400 a pop, 3,400, 3,400, 6,800. This gives me 7,100. So you're cashing in some green data, and I can pull both chests to get officers or to get transporter patterns. This also gives you more of these augment credits, which you can then convert into independent credits. I might actually go, because I'm just short. I'm at 4,800. I need 5,000. I might just go mine some red real fast. Let's do this. There were some empty nodes here. While I'm talking about it, let's go mine some red data real quick. So day 1 of the event doesn't really give out a whole lot of rewards. You complete it, you get your tokens, you get 5 of these rogue event trophies. You also get Zeta tokens, a little bit of rep, and then some titanium. Uh, Zeta tokens get cashed in the event store. We'll look at those in a second. The other things that you get for your trophies is you move up this alliance milestone. As each of your alliance members finish their events, they get trophies. You move up this. A little bit of resources, a little bit of recruit tokens. The bigger benefits come in 3 and 4, where you get these Eclipse Heist tokens. Look like poker chips. You also get some extra rogue event trophies as well. You get an extra 25 here. Typically, I think you get about 50 from the 3 day of events, and then an extra 25 here for finishing the alliance milestone puts you up to 75. And then you'll have 75 of these rogue event trophies and 100 of these Eclipse Heist tokens. Do have to watch out for bounty hunters, as I just saw that flash up on me. It looks like I'll have a tail here. Yep. Obviously, you got the bounty hunters that give you chase. The shorter nodes, you can just sort of avoid them, move around. What did I think I needed? So 9,500, so I need 3,500 to cash that in. So we'll do this real quick, obviously keeping an eye on where my guy is. They move pretty slow, the bounty hunters, so you certainly have plenty of time to hit your nodes here, get what you need, get out of dodge, as long as you're paying attention. A lot of people, you send your miner and you forget about it, and then, or you're thinking it's gonna, it'll take a couple minutes to get there. I've got time to do something else, and then your bounty hunter shows up and kills you. You can also just send another ship in advance or at the same time. There's a limited number of bounty hunters that'll pop in a system. So if there's a bunch of people over here, a lot of people like to do this, especially overnight. They'll just park a mid-level ship in here that they're trying to get ship XP for, and just let the bounty hunters kind of keep respawning and attacking it to get some ship XP. Good way to level up a Stella. As you're trying to grind them up to scrap them. If you don't feel like doing it, just if you can find a spot to park overnight, maybe you get 50 or 60 kills before the bounty hunter stops spawning, or somebody comes by and kills your bounty hunter. Because if somebody else kills your bounty hunter, then the bounty hunters will respawn and sort of chase them around. If you see somebody who's camping, especially if they happen to be of an enemy alliance, don't kill their ship, just kill the bounty hunter, and then they'll just sit there all night and doing nothing. It's kind of like a little slap in the face to them there, because then they wake up and like, oh, my ship didn't get hit, didn't take any damage. We know what the heck happened. You just sort of killed their bounty hunter. All right, so we got 4,000. That's good enough. And again, that didn't take very long, just a minute or so, not too long to fly back either. So we talked about so there's a couple different things that you get. You get these Zeta tokens. Zeta tokens can be cashed in a couple different ways. You can cash them in the officer chest to get officer shards. Now you get 5 shards, and it's a kind of weighted towards, against the epics. But the rare at 40% is not bad for 5 shards. And there's a decent number of rare officers here. Now I've got most of them maxed. Still working on Row and Avix here, so not a bad spot to pull to get 5 shards. Maybe I get some of the ones I already have and get some transporter patterns. Maybe I pick up 1 or 2 of these guys. Maybe I get lucky and get an epic shard. But there are certainly enough uncommon shards and common guys here as well. Um, that I probably, if you're just doing straight math at a 50-50 ratio, we'll say I get 3 of these guys, and then maybe one or 2 here, and there's a possibility that 1 of these might get replaced by an epic. So you're getting like 3 of these, 1 here, 1 here. It's kind of what you're mathematically would be looking at on a good we'll say above average pull. A good pull would be 2 epics. Fairly unlikely, but the Zeta tokens you'll get, I think 200 or so throughout the 3-day event. I don't think you get them on day 2, but I think you get them on day 3 again. You could also convert them if you were so inclined to get these hijacked blueprints, which currently the ships themselves are not worth building. Now they are doing an update to the scrap yard and what ships are scrappable next week, when they launch the February story arc. So there is a possibility that we may see these ships become scrappable, and then maybe they might have a little bit more value to mid-level players. But you can also just buy them through the Augment store as well. And then the third thing you can do with Zeta tokens is down here. You can just convert them straight up 100 tokens for 100 independent credits. Not exactly the best conversion ratio. You know, independent credits are hard to source in larger quantities, and you do need them, 10, 20,000 for maxing out certain officers, your Borg officers, some of your other crews that are not necessarily affiliated, uh, like your Lorca Captain Tilly, Emperor Giorgio, take independent credits. All of your Khan Mud crews take independent credits, and then your Borg guys also take some independent credits at the higher levels. So the other thing we have, I mentioned there were a couple other rewards. Go back to the event store. You've got the Apex Research Medals. So you get these. You get these Rogue Event trophies. I usually get 75 of them now per month. At lower levels, you may get less. And you can convert them for multiple things. You can get the Apex Research Medals, which are only available through this event. This is typically the only way to get these is in this monthly arc here, event between arcs. And if they skip it for some reason because it's a shorter month or whatnot, then you kind of have to wait till the following month. And we'll look at a couple different researches that these unlock and can do boost up for you. But you're looking at 150 medals for 5. So if I get 75, I could get a couple thousand of these, maybe like 2,000 total. Probably not going to spend all of it on these, but there are a few researches there. The other things you can convert for, uh, the usual resource bundles, where you've got, just like with the Crucible of War, now you've got titanium and crystal, dilithium and gas, ore and par steel. Because of my level, I'm looking at G4 grade materials. If you are a lower level, these will be 2-star or 3-star materials, and obviously these amounts will be lower for you. But for 15 of these shards, which I can do up to 3 times for the event, so I could do 3 pulls of this. I would, cost me 45 of my potentially 75 tokens, but I do get, 450 crystal here, plus some rares, plus a bunch of titanium. This is a better payout than what we saw yesterday in Crucible of War. This is a much better payout than we saw in that. Are those still up? Let's see if those are still up. Those are still up. So you can only do a 2 pull. You get 186, but you can only do it twice. So you can get 370 as opposed to, nearly 450 on the other side. So you do have the opportunity for more. All right, so I shouldn't say it's a better payout because it's, 1 pull over there is 180 versus this being 150. But you can do this one 3 times, so you end up with a higher total at the end. And since you do need a lot of this as you progress, you need a lot of these G4 stuffs. Here you got 12.5 million dilithium, plus 12 million in tokens, plus 150 gas and some rare gas as well. It's a pretty good pack for doing research and for upgrading buildings and ships. Here's par steel and ore used mostly for a handful of buildings and your battleships, and that's a good amount of par steel. But there are events and there are other ways to get par steel as well. Once you get into the 40s and you're starting to work on ships there, now you also need a new component, being not just the common ship parts, but uncommon ship parts, which you can also convert here. One chest, 60 of these gets you 600. So not a great conversion ratio there. While 600 is a great number to get all at once, If we look at, here we are, tier 5 jellyfish. This needs 5,000, 4,000, 5,000. Each component 6,000. Yeah, so getting 9,000 for the red matter torpedo. Even the cargo bay takes 2,200. So getting one pull one time for 600, just kind of a drop in the bucket when you need thousands of these. That's 10%, 15% of one upgrade, and you need to use a ship like this has 7 or 8 spots. Uh, just swap ships for a second. The Kelvin is more expensive than that. Tier 4 Kelvin, you're looking at again 5,000 per component here. Ooh, I could actually upgrade that. Probably do that one actually. Get me a little bit more. But again, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 8,000 for the photon torpedoes. So lots of uncommon parts. So 600 probably not going to get you where you need to go. In this particular case, like if I really wanted to upgrade this photon torpedo, maybe this was the last thing I needed to tear the ship up, and I'm like, oh well, I'm only 250 short or whatever. Sure, maybe that would be a thing to do. Go back to the event store. Now down the end, the last thing we have are these Eclipse Heist tokens. Your day 3 event will, as you complete the milestones, you'll get 100 of these. You'll also get 100 for your completing your Alliance event. So you get 200 of these, which will give you 2 pulls. Option 1 for converting them is 1 of these random command badges for 100. So you could take your chances twice to get one of the command badges that you would need to upgrade officers. These are also available in your faction stores. The other option would be is to try for faction credits. 250, a little bit better for an independent credit. 500 for Federation Klingon Romulan is a little better too. And what I meant earlier, in case you're unfamiliar, in your faction stores, Federation Klingon and Romulan, you have these commendation parts. So if I wanted a command badge, I could get one right here for 840 of these minor commendations. These come from the Discovery Refinery. Sometimes. And then you have engineering badge, science badge, command badge. They all cost 840. They are all available in each store, but they don't have a cooldown, so it doesn't really matter. It's kind of just overkill. You have to hit a certain rep level in order to do this conversion. So that's why they put them in all 3 stores. So depending on the earlier you are in the game, you might only have one of them, up high enough to do it. And they didn't want anybody to be locked out of it. But if once you get to the point that one of them is up high enough where you're tri-locked, then they just sort of become redundant that they're in each store. And those commendations come from the Discovery Refinery. You have a chance here every Sunday. Obviously, we have the Discovery event. You get 481 refinery tokens. That gives you 4 days of doing 6 chest pulls, and then it gives you 1 extra. So twice a year, you end up with that 1 extra. It gives you enough to 24 to do an extra 1 bonus chest. So tomorrow, this event will roll around. Will be my 1 of 2 for my semi-annual bonus chest. And you've got a chance in here to get some of these minor commendations. Decent numbers. I mean, like I said, you need a little over almost 700 to get a command badge, or an engineer badge, or a science badge. You've got decent chances to pull them, and remember, you are opening 6 chests. So you've got stuff here. Obviously, you've got the speed ups, the recruit tokens, and again, the 4-day speed ups that are guaranteed once you hit level 40 and have your discovery maxed. So if your discovery is maxed out at tier 9 and you hit ops level 40, you get this wonderful bonus here, which is guaranteed in addition to all these other things you could get. And then you do a 6 chest pull. That's 24 1-day speed ups. You You can do that 4 times a week, 96 days worth of speed ups. Definitely comes in handy. Can't stress enough the importance of having a max discovery by the time you reach level 40 to take advantage of that benefit. Um, and like I mentioned in yesterday's video, you've got 3 events here in Apex Outlaw. Spy being the first sort of easiest one, has kind of the lowest rewards. Tomorrow's event should be doing damage to Eclipse hostiles. And then the third event will be running different Eclipse armadas. So again, do the data mining, convert the data mining into Eclipse directives, so that way you can run a couple. Even if you are a lower level player, you can still get some points off that for participating, for setting. You set an uncommon, 1 or 2 uncommons and a rare, you get some points, and then people maybe get a group together and you star in some people into your group, and then they star you into their group, and you get your event finished. And then you just need everybody else in your alliance to kind of do that, so that way you finish up the alliance milestone to get these extra heist tokens and rewards, and get these extra rogue trophies so that you can convert for more stuff. Pretty simple 3-day event. I did want to talk about what those research tokens get you, the ones that you get 150 per bundle, and there are a few different researches and a couple different trees here. In our station research tree, you have the Apex construction speed, which gives you 5% boosts to construction speed for buildings. You also have one for research, speeding things up, kind of the same rate, 5% per level of an increase. Costs 1,000 going up to 1,200 and continuing on up and up and up. This might be something where I'm thinking about, because as again, 5% doesn't seem like a lot, but when your building takes 60 or 70 days, cutting a couple days off that certainly helps. Nothing else in the station research tree. I know we've got some in the outlaw tree. Yeah, they're just the other ones are in the outlaw tree. Nothing in combat, nothing in away teams or territory, but in the outlaw tree, we've got Apex Getaway Pilots, which is warp speed for ships, an extra 5% or so to your warp speed, cuts down on your travel time. Not bad to get at least a few levels of. And then we've got Chop Shop here, which increases your scrapping speed. This one actually is a pretty good one to invest in. Scrapping ships does become a little bit more of a necessity the higher into the game you get. So you start to get those 2-star and 3-star resources that you really don't have much use for anymore once you finished your researches and things. But you can put them into mid-tier ships, level them up, and then scrap them. And since the scrapyard is the one thing in the game that you cannot speed up, you can get alliance helps for it, but you can't accelerate it unless they're changing that tomorrow too, Tuesday. Who knows? But you've got your cut down on your scrapping speed to save yourself some time on that. The other one here, which I think is the one I'm about to go for, is this Apex Rogue Notoriety one. This improves the outputs of the reputation bundles in the faction store by 35%. We're actually going to do this right now and find out what it looks like. So let's go to my event store. I want these medals. Okay. So go to our rogue, look at our, it's this one. Rogue credits, rogue reputation, 50, 67. So this is the one you do for just as you cash in with your Eclipse security codes for killing the miners, the traders in with your Stella. 530 credits, 32,000 reputation. And then you've got this extra one, this exchange heist loot, which gives you extra credits and extra reputation, 1580, 9750. Let's find a research to speed up. Bingo bango. Done. 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 Notoriety, 6 days. It's going to improve those totals by 35%. We'll wait a second here, so get some helps applied. So we're expecting that the output, that everything should hopefully go up, which would include this one here giving me more directives, because it's giving me the reputation in the bundle, and hopefully it'll give me more directives than just 50 and 67. That's what we're about to find out. Just wait to get some alliance helps real quick. While we're waiting on that, we'll take a quick peek at the other research. So we talked about Apex getaway pilots. We talked about the scrapping speed. Actually, I think this is the last one. The notoriety here is the third one. So this is a 35% increase. I mean, I'm sure there may be more at the higher levels, because obviously these trees, they only let you see so far. As your ops level progresses, the screen moves further and further to the right. And you start to see like new and additional things. And then, when I get to 45 or 46, like there'll be new things that are after this that'll just be like, oh, where did they come from? Because now your ops level is high enough that you can actually see this stuff. So, all right. Well, doesn't look like people want to click the help button today. Come on. And there we go. And a 5-hour speed up. Apex notoriety is now complete. Okay. It reset them, which was awesome. So it reset them for me. I'm still getting the same credits and directives, but it did give me more reputation. So I would not recommend necessarily this particular bundle. This was still the same 1580. Yeah, it's just giving me it's literally giving you only higher reputation. It's not increasing the output of everything. So again, a little misleading in the wording, because it tells you it's improving the output of things in those bundles, but it's only improving the output of the reputation, which might help you get faster to this max. Not 100% sure what happens when you get maxed out. I have to ask one of my Ops 50 friends who've done, if they've done that, what exactly that looks like at max. But yeah, that research was anticlimactic, so that's a little disappointing. But all in all, that is the Apex event. Those are all the different options and rewards, researches, things for you. Pretty easy to complete. Recommend highly that you do all 3 of the milestones. Good way to get some extra resources to help you upgrade your ships and upgrade your buildings, help you do your researches, get a couple of those special researches that you can't get anywhere else, and possibly pick up some officers. Again, not a big fan of the augment blueprint chests currently. Maybe that'll change next month, but again, you can still source those through the actual augment store. So, the actual officers, or just getting the independent credits. All different possibilities there. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you learned a little bit something about this particular event. If you have questions, be sure and leave them in the YouTube comments below. Follow me on YouTube and Twitch, because this was a live video on Twitch, so you could have interacted with me live when I was streaming over there. But if you're watching the replay, thank you again for watching that. And you guys take care, and I'll see you around the galaxy.